Hi guys, Ron with Lucid Studio back with another video. And what we want to do today is we're going to work on a clay render. So before we get started, make sure you save out the version of your file as a clay version, so you can see up at the top here I have in parentheses clay, and that way you retain your original version and we have a clay version. So the first thing we're going to do is actually we're going to do the override method. So it's the first method we're going to do, and it's pretty simple. Basically, you're going to have a clay material like this orb right here, this sphere, and here are the attributes for that clay material. Generally, I just move roughness all the way up to 1, and I drop the specular down to 0.3. I like a little highlights here and there. And then the color that we're using, we'll click on that, is this hex value here. Okay. So once that's done, we're going to go ahead and go to layer properties. And we'll go all the way down to the bottom where we see override. So down here at the bottom we'll say override, and then what you want to do is you want to go ahead and select the clay texture that we've created, or the clay material. And basically what that's going to do is that's going to create our whole scene into this clay, or make our whole scene into this clay material. Now that might be what you want. However, with this method there are limitations. I can't change the background or the floor here. The override overrides everything. So that might not work for you. The second method is, we're going to just revert this real quick. Revert. There we are. And we'll revert this to the original version. And the second method is we're going to borrow materials from this sphere, and we're going to push it onto this joystick here. So to do that, basically we're going to select everything in the scene. But I don't want to select my grid plane. I want to keep that the original material. So I'm going to go ahead and lock that. All right. And once we do that, we'll hit A to select and toggle all. And then we'll hold down the shift key and select our material here, our sphere. And then you want to hit Control L, and we're going to link materials. Okay. Now you can see that our joystick didn't turn the clay material, but if you notice along here, this item did, this circle, this dash circle with the text. That's because this is a single object within the object mode. The joystick here has several components that are in edit mode. So what we have to do is we have to select our item, and this is why this method might not work exactly how you intended it to work. But in this case, we're going to switch over to edit mode, and then we're going to select all. Okay, let's try that again. Okay, everything's selected. We're going to go over to the material, and we're going to select the clay item or the clay texture, and then we're just going to hit assign. And then we're going to hit edit to tab out. Okay. And now we're back to the scene, and it looks great. You know, we have our joystick exactly how we intended, and everything looks good. So that's the second method. All right, I've reverted to the previous state, and I'm going to go ahead and show you the third method. And the third method is a bit destructive. So what we want to do in this method is we can go up to the top here, and we're going to go down to Blender File, and we're going to push this down. And we're going to select materials and everything that has joystick or that's involved in our model. We're going to go ahead and delete any texture or material associated with that, and we'll hit delete. And you can tell the joystick went totally back to its default state. And then we're going to pop out of here. We're going to go back to view layer, and we're going to push this up, and we're going to go down to our materials palette, and then underneath we'll select the joystick here, and you can see that everything's been deleted. So typically what I'll do is I'll just delete these guys, and then I'll go ahead and add our clay material. Do the same thing with this dashed line. We'll get rid of that, add our clay material, and voila, we have our third version, or our third technique. So that's pretty much it. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to render this. Now I like to render with some ambient occlusion, and you can see down here I have it under under my render passes in layer properties. I have ambient occlusion selected. I'm going to go ahead and check my render settings on cycles, 256 samples, denoise. I'm using open image denoise. Hit F12 and we'll render this thing. and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, we finished the render, so I'm going to go ahead and close this window. I'm going to go to Compositing. See, there's my joystick right there. And I'm going to go ahead and add some AO to this. And if you want to watch my previous video on AO, it pretty much does the same thing. I'm going to hit Shift A. I'm going to put in mixed for mix node. I'm going to drop that in, move these guys over a little bit. Take image, go into here, take AO, go into this socket, take image from here, go to here, and down to there. And this is what it looks like with full-on ambient occlusion. I'm going to switch from mix to multiply, and then there we go. Our nice, rich looking clay rendered joystick. Looks great. All right, I'll see you next time. And if you feel like heading over to my Instagram page at Lucid Man Studio and following me or giving one of my images a like, I greatly appreciate it. And we'll see you down the road.